What's going on? What's going on?
Oh, what day is this going out?
Thursday? Friday? What day are we on?
Oh, what a game that was on Wednesday.
I know.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
5-0 again.
Oh, mate, there was 90 minutes. There was an half time. There was all that happened.
Ali stood on the sideline.
Saw it
See him?
all day.
He looked at his watch.
And they played, and he did the thing with a ball and that.
Yeah,
Mint.
Turkish fella.
Absolutely mint.
And we love Raphael still.
And we love Raphael.
Still.
So what he
Even
did,
after he did that thing.
after what he did, we still love him.
Still
love him.
till this day. As you can see, yet again, we are doing this without knowing the result of the Champions League game.
Dangerous game.
But yet again, we are putting our necks on the line and saying, we are 9 points out of 9.
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
I said that by accident.
I think we're going to rotate.
Rotate what, though? Like, who is the best team? What are we rotating to?
Okay, well, we'll rotate what played the last game. You know there's
In the
a
Champions
rotating.
League or the league? Because Ollie's doing some weird stuff here.
You know there's rotations.
Yeah.
You know what rotation means.
Yeah.
It's like spinning round.
Like Kylie Minogue.
Oh, mate.
Is that your favourite Kylie Minogue tune?
What, oh, mate? I don't remember
Spinning
that.
around.
No. Geezer I know married her sister.
Who?
Geezer I know. Played rugby with
Married
Danny Minogue.
Danny Minogue.
True story.
Danny Minogue.
Geezer from Salford.
She was the better one as well, wasn't she?
No comment. It's married to someone I know.
Oh yeah. Conflict of interest. Well, yeah, compliment. But yeah. Which is your favourite Kylie Minogue tune? Danny Minogue had a few tunes, didn't she? What were her tunes, though?
Can't get you out of my head.
I think it's mine, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
Is it head? Where is it? All right, we're not looking at it. I mean,
what tunes?
that's a pop career that didn't really go anywhere.
Well,
honestly, if you'd
I
put a gun
remember
to
she
my
had
head and said,
one banger.
"Name me a song,"
what was the one banger again?
probably one of them that's on the screen, but
Kylie Minogue. Look how he spelled Minogue.
Minogue,
Isn't
Monogue, Monologue.
What was she used to be in Home and Away?
I don't know. Went around my mum's yesterday,
Neighbours.
and they was watching Home and Away, and I was like, "You must be the only people."
Home and Away.
Why do I give a shit what's
Is that
going
the theme
on
tunes, though?
in some weird Adelaide? Is it Adelaide suburb in Straya?
How does it work? You and me stay forever, closer each day. Home and Away. What's your favourite soap theme tune?
I don't watch soaps. I barely watch telly.
That's shit, innit? That's shit, innit? My favourite's Heartbeat. I have
Didn't-
great memories of that tune. Used to
didn't
sing it
ask.
with my mum and that back in the day. Heartbeat's proper messed up as well. It's one of them things what you look forward to, but you knew as a kid, the closer it got to Heartbeat, the closer it got to bath time and bed and school in the morning.
Can I just put this out there, right? Because this is in the same genre, and it might even be the same channel. I don't know. I ain't watched it since I was a weean. Casual is the worst TV show ever.
First 5 minutes, you always know some mad shit's going to go down, though.
Oh, what's
Some-
going to go on here
some
with
bloke
the
putting a ladder
tractor in a barn? And what's he doing with them matches? Stop it! Stop it! Stevie Wonder can see your plot lines coming.
But, you know what's crazy? Like, you know how, like, in a crime thing, you won't... That's the bit you'll see last, because you'll find out who did it, what they did, and that. But in this, you need that to set up the madness that is going to... Hobby City was good.
Don't
Casually.
carry a pitchfork like that. You're gonna... There we go.
Yeah, it's like crap outtakes from Final Destination.
It's
Make the
shocking.
first bits of
But it's
Casual.
like the acting is horrific.
It's on prime time TV. as
Yeah,
well.
and it looks like they had no budget and they're all volunteers, mentals that just turned up.
Volunteers.
Like, imagine if you said volunteer to be on a TV show. Imagine the mentals that would turn up.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, he's laughing. He's one of the
Joe-
ones that kind of turned up for that.
Joe would turn up, didn't he? He wanted... Joe
face there.
went on television on a game show.
Bought a new suede jacket.
And what? He spent more on his suede
Yes,
jacket than
did.
he won.
They did on the price. You got a Kindle that you can buy for $79.99, and he's out here spending $3 on a suede jacket. Lunatic.
His prize was so crap that the game show host knew it was crap. So they said, we'll give you a prize backstage.
And you're like, yeah, mate. And you're like...
It wasn't even a good Kindle. It's one of the shit ones you get from the post office.
Do you know, you might have seen like medal ceremonies and stuff like that. And we can touch on this actually because it is Remembrance next week. Medal ceremonies usually have like, sometimes there's a royal guy or usually someone very high up in the military will give you your awards. I got mine slid across the desk. I walked in, there was a new clerk. Clerks are like the admin types. What's your name? Howson. He went, one sec. Literally slid it across the desk. I went, what's that? He went, Iraq medal.
What medal was it?
Iraq.
So obviously there's loads of different medals, right? So you get a medal just for serving in a certain war. So people will have different medals for each war, but then you can get other medals for doing different things.
Yeah. I mean, British Army tend not to give them out. You got to die basically to get one of those. America, I think America get it for flying over war zones, let alone serving in them. So America, that's why they end up with that like just board of nonsense. You see a British soldier that's got 7 or 8 medals, guys see some shit. But yeah, you see American ones. Might be. But yeah, I got my Iraq medal slid over. And to be fair, my Afghanistan one, there was a geezer just pulled that out of a brown envelope while I was in Afghanistan. Shook me hand and was like, there you go. Cool. What's supposed to do with this?
Yeah, that's a bit. No ceremony.
Nothing.
No. What's that instrument that they play?
The bugle.
That's the one. Is it that?
Do you ever see that meme of the blonde officer with Prince Charles standing in front of her going like that?
No.
She was my boss.
What was she doing in front of?
She was standing, if you Google it, Army officer, medal ceremony, blonde, probably. Prince Charles.
The way Googles work.
There we go. Second one in there. It's a funny photo. Look at that.
So that's your boss?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's really weird, isn't it?
So basically everyone in that picture is from my unit, and I got mine slid across the table.
So you should have been stood there getting fouled up by Prince Charles.
Yeah. Missed opportunity.
It's a shame. What? If he would have saw
yours
as well.
That was at his house. What's his house called?
Wherever
no, it's not Buckingham Palace. It's something house, Sandringham House, or something like that. Is it Sandringham House?
Whatever it is,
Whatever
he didn't pay for it.
That was at his house. I actually want to say it was in his back garden.
My back garden.
Yeah. So there you go. Be saving that away for later.
Yeah. No, he's got to save that to show that in the video, hopefully. So yeah, it is Remembrance Day soon. Obviously,
no one allowed to do the parades anywhere. So there's a bit of a thing going around in the military community, which is you're allowed to exercise outdoors. So why don't we all plan to exercise towards the cenotaph?
March.
No, just exercise there, run there, whatever you got to do there. Pause there for a couple of minutes and then go home. So yeah,
because I imagine obviously everyone knows the kind of person I am. I'm very anti-war, but those kind of people that have been in those situations. And like when we learnt about Remembrance Day, it was very much about World War I, World War II. That's what it was about. Do you know what I mean? We used to buy our puppies, do all that stuff. Remembrance Day was a thing that, and like obviously it's moved on since, but soldiers are kind of people that probably need to be around each other at that time, innit? Because I can't relate to you about some of your stories or some of the things that you've been through.
It was a World War I thing and a World War II thing, but it's a whole different meaning for me. Now I'm going honouring mates that are left over there and things like that. And in Manchester, there's usually a few people that I know that I either serve with or you was on the same operations as, and it's weird. You sort of gravitate towards each other. There's a little pub up now near the side of the town hall that I'd always go in. And end up staying 4 or 5 hours in there and usually buy 4 or 5 pints, leave a poppy in them for some of my mates and just leave them on the table and crack on. And it's become a bit of a tradition that I've done that for quite a few years, and it feels weird not being able to do that this year, even though it's not something that I centre my entire life around, but it's just a day to remember. It could have been any of us. And I think the poppy thing and all that lot's been mega politicised, and I fucking hate how I hate them poppy Nazis that you get. So like if you're not wearing it, like someone will probably say something about me not wearing them. There's one on my car. You know what I mean? I don't need to wear it. I'm probably going to get one tattooed on me somewhere for the lads that I've lost. I don't agree with the politicising of you have to wear a fucking poppy.
Mm.
And the way it's become like, if someone forgets to wear one on TV, they'll get hounded, or people have been calling them for them to lose their jobs and stuff like that. It's not the idea. The whole idea of poppy is about, it's for a lot of people at least anyway, it's about people who died to protect freedoms. You got a freedom to fucking forget sometimes,
or freedom
Do you know what I mean?
A lot of people don't disagree with remembering people. It's just how they remember them. Like some people think, I don't know, I don't need to wear a poppy to remember people, or
and the same kind of people that are overly zealous about making sure every presenter on the BBC wears a poppy. See their ass if someone wears a Black Lives Matter thing. There's no difference.
The thing is, a poppy has been a non-political statement that has been weaponized, hasn't it?
Totally.
And
Black Lives Matter is probably the same.
Yeah. And people forget, like, obviously it's around Remembrance Day. We don't want to take it off that, but people forget what the meaning of it is, which when we were in school, we were told this is what it's about. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you remember the blood shed and all that kind of stuff. And we used to rock them every... Now, you understand that. You also got to understand, and this is something you do understand, that a lot of people that live in Britain are from, like, colonies of Britain. So they may have reasons why, or relatives that were killed by the British, and they probably think,
and
I ain't going
also,
to rep that.
I think a lot of the Brexit types forget that these colonies all fought. India had a massive...
Millions.
Millions of people that fought in, I think, First and Second World War, as did a lot of the countries of Africa. Whenever Britain colonised people, it did what Romans do, make them fight for you as well. And all of those were involved in all the conflicts. And I served with Commonwealth soldiers, people from the Caribbean, people from South Africa, things like that. They're still, and even Australia, New Zealand, there's some sort of weird like exchange thing that goes on. So you see a lot of Commonwealth soldiers all the time. It's a big thing still. And Fiji, there's an enormous population of Fiji. But the biggest employer in Fiji is probably the British Army. It feels like, and all over the place with that. Do you know who started the poppy appeal?
Who? Oh,
yeah,
no.
A guy called Major George Howson.
Sick.
No relative. Just coincidence.
When did it start?
I think he started it in 1919. I think it was.
Did the British Legion become a part of it recently, or?
I think it morphed into the British Legion. I think it was called something like the Wounded Soldiers Appeal or something like that at first. And he basically got a lot of geezers that had lost limbs and stuff like that working in a factory. Factories in East London, I think. It's still there, actually, the original factory.
There's a deep part to it as well, because it was there to raise money for wounded soldiers and things like that. And it's like, I don't know what your opinion, and again, we're not talking about football, but it's uncensored, so who cares? There's a big part of it where, all over the world really, but governments don't really show care for their armed forces, especially once they're out of the armed forces.
Oh, God, yeah.
And the fact that you need to raise money for that is almost a disgrace in itself,
the
isn't
fact that everyone has heard of Help for Heroes is a bit of a joke. Shouldn't need to exist.
Yeah.
Shouldn't need to
Because a lot of homeless people are because I speak to a few, like, I always try and speak to people rather than just, he's a quid, piss off, get out of the way. Like, try and speak to them sometimes.
And for everyone at home, that I'll go back to you in a sec, but that's important for when you go and speak to homeless people. You've got to engage with homeless people, because otherwise, can you imagine anything that strips your dignity and humanity more than having to beg on a street? But I reckon every time somebody stops and actually treats them like an actual person rather than just throwing a quid at them,
there's nothing wrong with that as well. Like, they need money. Like, they're not going to, but sometimes just, like, because, for example, when we go to games, and I wonder about this fella, like, so when I used to go to games, by Old Trafford Cricket Ground, there used to be a fella there, and I used to see him all the time, buy him a drink from Cafe Nero, have a little chat with him, if needed a few quid, whatever. And, like, I haven't seen him since March, bruv.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just think, like, wonder where he is, and it's like, even now in this pandemic, those people aren't probably getting the footfall of people to get the money. And again, some of these people are ex-forces, and it's like, it's remarkable that people showed all this patriotism and all this kind of stuff, but really there's a lot of these people that have fought for you, and you pretend you care for, and you wear your poppy for, but they're out on the streets. You get me?
That was one of the major drivers was behind why I wanted to do the charity podcast when I originally started doing it.
That was for the homeless, right?
Yeah, and it was because of how many ex-servicemen that I see. And there was I used to work in Oldham when I was scaffolding. I used to have an office in Oldham. There's a Sainsbury's in the centre of Oldham, and there was a guy I used to stop, get my lunch 3 times a week, and he used to have a dog, and he shaved the Union Jacks trying to sign into the side of his dog. But he had a card of him one day, and I'd never clocked. And I said, "Was you in the army?" And he said, "Yeah." And he read his number out, and his number was eerily close to mine. And the numbers are sequential. Like you can tell me your army number, and I'll go, "Do you on about 1984?" And he'll be like, "Oh, 85."
Bit like your membership number at Old Trafford.
Yeah, you can guess roughly when someone joined based on their number. He'd be like, 3 or what? Behave. Brand new. And his number was close to mine. And I said, "Oh, like, where did you go?" And he was like, "Oh, I did Afghanistan." And my head fell off. I had to go and sit in my car, bawled my eyes out, was just in tatters. And I was like, that's me. That's, I had some hard times out of work, stuff like that at times, and this guy's me.
And it's almost, you mentioned number there, family, they almost become just numbers, isn't
totally.
It? In fact, they do become just numbers, whether it's statistics on how many are killed, how many are sent home, how many are still there. Ultimately, they do become statistics, and that's why it's a weird one. We show all this patriotism, but again, it's like maybe just buy your poppies and that, but also have a look every other month of the year. You know what I mean? Because there's people out there that are needing your help, not just ex-forces.
Yeah, again, it's not just even just homeless people. You got to remember your people. So last week we give a big shout out to what Marcus Rashford's doing, looking after his people, and that's what I hope that everything that we do sort of echoes with that. Yeah, we've been thinking this week, how do we do the 24-hour podcast? It's hard work, and that's not obviously no one's scared of the hard work here, but to keep it interesting and engaging for 24 hours, to keep raising the money that we've got to do for 24 hours, to make it worth the pain that we're going to go through, we have to bring people in. You can't morally really be bringing 15, 20 people through our office during a pandemic. So what do? So we're struggling at the moment trying to figure out how we come up with doing a 24-hour podcast, because my mum works for a charity in Manchester. She's got a load of men that have got mental health issues, and most of her men haven't been outside since February.
And on that note, by the way, a lot of people were going back into lockdown in the UK. If y'all need someone to chat to, you need to just holler someone, holler me or Steve, or holler anyone. I need to start talking out here, innit? I guess, because it's a weird time. If I didn't come here, I'd probably go insane at the moment. Like
not seeing people. Like
just being locked. So the fact that I come here is like a relief in itself. But even then, even if I couldn't come here, I'd still be very fortunate. I live with people and that, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't have that fortune, I guess. So, yeah. But moving on from that, because it's a bit of a depressing one, I guess.
It's uncensored.
It is uncensored.
And unplanned.
And you might cry sometimes, I guess. It's life, I suppose. This is life. This is your life, Steve.
Oh, shit.
Got a red book here. And here's some... Oh, imagine we did that. Pulled out some people.
Is that even a show anymore?
It should be. I should present it. Me and my red book.
Who presented it before? Was it Norris McWhirter? Or
Michael Parkinson, wasn't it?
Parkinson?
Was it Parkinson?
Who
he had white hair, I remember that. This is your life.
And the guy also always wear a grey suit. Get a new colour suit, man.
Michael Aspel, that was it.
Aspel, yeah.
Trevor McDonald did it. When?
Don't remember that.
Yeah.
Eamon Andrews. Wouldn't know him if I fell over him. Wow.
Yeah, but he ended before I was born.
Michael Aspel. What's he up to nowadays?
I hope he's not dead.
Being 87. Doesn't look 87. What a wonderful head of hair he's got.
Well, is like...
That's a rate good Faz, that is.
He does look 87. You saw a picture from the 80s.
It was an old photo. Still not bad, though, for 80. I mean, he looks 87. But not bad. There you go. 86. Looking dapper. Wherever that was. Daily Mirror.
Is he looking dapper, though?
I mean,
Is he?
I can't imagine what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
At 86?
He's still got
Any
it.
day you've not shot yourself's a good day. Yeah,
You didn't see after the
36.
picture, he shook his leg. A little bit fell out.
Everton, Saturday.
Oh,
Holler
man.
at me.
Carlo Ancelotti.
How big a game is it?
Well, we always have these images of Moyes and the Grim Reaper at Goodison, don't we? And I suppose this is a good video to do it in because we don't know the result of the Istanbul game.
I mean, we can pretend we don't if you want.
Yeah, we won, but we don't know the result of the Istanbul game. Does the Istanbul game have any bearing?
Say the second name.
Besiktas. Brown fella, you shouldn't have asked me. Does the Istanbul Besiktas game have the result of that have any bearing on Ollie's future if he loses against Everton? Is he fucked basically if he loses against Everton? Because he dropped 11 out of 18 points.
I think there's elements of the fan base that are gagging for a never was manager in Pochettino, which I still think is well on the cards. Regardless of the result of last night, regardless of the result of Saturday, I think there's some people that just have.
But they don't make the decision.
They don't, but they do. Put pressure on him, and they can create a narrative online. Like I knew what Monday night was going to be like after he was on Monday Night Football. It was everywhere.
It was tactical.
Probably
because Poch said in that,
and I wonder if it's been tactically coordinated with Woodward.
But he can't tactically coordinate Ollie to drop 11 points.
No, he can't. No, but if he's planning on... Like, this is you got to remember, Manchester United is a football club that takes care of and wants PR more than any other football team. There's not another football team out there that's asked about PR as much as United, right? So, do you think it's out of the realms of possibility that a £4 billion company with their most important appointments wouldn't cede something like this into the press?
Yes.
Whether that's by having him on and telling him the sort of thing to say. Because I think it's kind of common knowledge that we've had a conversation with him. Not me and McKola. I'm talking like United as a club have supposedly been wording up Poch. Now, don't you think if that was an ongoing conversation about him being ready, that United, knowing that Ollie's a loved legend of the club, and that there's some fans that are going to stick with him no matter how bad it gets, do you not think that they would like to try and soften the shock of him being sacked by prepping some other stuff?
I think clubs move like that, but I think there was also a lot of signs we were going to sign Sancho and we didn't. And I think a lot of those things that we think are maybe being briefed at times, which does happen, sometimes it could just be guesswork because it's such an obvious thing almost, you know what I mean? Because Poch is there, Sancho is there. Oh, yeah, United, Sancho, Poch and United. It makes sense. So people can write stories. The thing that was more telling to me was in Poch's, he was very respectful to Spurs, which suggests he's still got an NDA with them. But also, or he's expecting Jose to be sacked soon. But also, he said, you guys have asked me on Monday Night Football for months, and I've said no. And I thought, now's the time. Paraphrased him, but that's what he said.
Okay.
That to me
why
suggests,
is now the time?
Yeah. Why is now the time? And that Everton game, is it a must-win for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
I think because of the nature of our fan base, every game's a must-win game.
The Grim Reaper there, popping his head through the door.
Who was that then?
Literally the Grim Reaper, Alex Bagley, the super seeder.
Super spreader.
The super spreader and seeder. He's just come off Air Force One with Donald Trump, having spread it about like a good one.
Good lad. No, I think the way our fan base is hysterical and expectant and entitled, I think that there's an element of you have to win every single game. I seen some shit the other day saying, if only we had a style of play, it'd make the losses easier. And I went, no, it wouldn't. He went, yeah, it would. And I was like, no, it wouldn't. I was like, Lou Van Gaal had a style of play. Jose's got a style of play. What the fucking hell is that supposed to mean? I was like, what's Poch's style of play?
But I think you're being... I love Ali. I want him to succeed. I hope we don't have to sack him because that would mean he's been successful. But if we sack him, Poch is a very good. I feel like you're being a little bit naive towards Poch.
The guy was on camera saying trophies are only there to inflate egos. He's on camera like saying, was it before the Champions League final? I'm probably going to quit either way.
On Monday again, and it sounded like an interview almost. And I don't really want to talk about this because it's disrespectful and Ollie's still at the club. But he was talking about how like the size of a club matters. And he was talking about how the expectations at a club matter and things like that. And it sounded like an audition for United. But I was talking about Ollie here because Poch is there. Like, Poch's availability, I think, doesn't affect Solskjaer's job if he gets the results.
Definitely wrong.
We thought he was gone last December. Me and you did a video saying he'd probably be sacked by Christmas.
But then he won those 2 games.
Exactly. And he has the ability to do that. So it's weird. And like, I'm not one of these people that says he has no tactics. I thought he got it wrong against Chelsea and against Arsenal. Thought he went in way too negative, respected him too much. But to say he doesn't have tactics is really naive. In fact, he's very flexible with his tactics and the way he plays. He sets up differently at different times. There may be the same common trends and themes that he wants to have throughout the team, but he definitely sets teams up with different tactics in mind. Though he's a bit naive in a sense, though, I feel, and he's done this a few times, where the lads played good against Newcastle, played them against Chelsea. Yeah, it's 2 different opposition. The diamond worked against Leipzig. I used it again.
I think he believes in form and confidence, possibly too much in that sense.
But again, it's not what works against Leipzig isn't necessarily going to work against Arsenal.
Well, if you saw my Oppo previews of both, I didn't want the diamond in either. Especially with how Arsenal was going to press us, and Leipzig didn't press us quite so hard. And Leipzig actually caused us, even though people go, Stevie won 5-0. We did. We were very clinical. But they caused us the problems that I expected them to cause us. And they didn't have the final ball, or they didn't have the final movement to open us up and actually get the goals. But there were times that Wan-Bissaka was 2v1 and either dealt with it or the ball didn't come. There was times where Harry Maguire was dragged out of position and that third man run didn't come through the middle, which is something that they're excellent at. So I think we rode our luck a little bit against Leipzig to get the 5-0. Similarly, at Paris Saint-Germain, phenomenal result, tactically fantastic. Rode our luck at times though, because there's a few shots that Mbappe got off inside the box where you go, De Gea's pulled out a big save there and done really well. And ultimately, that is football. I'd rather have a lucky manager than a good one.
But I feel when people say things like that, and I'm not saying you're doing it, but they forget that we missed a couple of sitters in that game.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there was
times the Arsenal game, as much as I could see that we was struggling with the press and struggling to play out from the back.
That's what annoyed me. We all could see it weren't working.
10 minutes into the game, I was like, well, this is us.
Even at half-time, I thought he was going to change this now.
But the expected goals on the game was 0.38 to United, 0.36 to Arsenal, apart from the penalty. It was a 0-0 game until a penalty.
Do you think the concession of 9 goals in 2 home games has caused them to go this negative kind of... Not super
you can
negative,
see, you can see 3 to Crystal Palace. Anyone's going to flap and go, what's going on here? You've got to. And maybe we just got to ride out this kink. And who knows, like, Everton have shown a little bit of, they started off fantastic, but the cracks appear in that very thin squad very quickly. If we can capitalise on that, we might do all right. And it would be a good win for us, but we desperately need that win.
Do we get it?
Yeah. I think Ollie's got this knack of pulling out a big win when he needs one.
Because we've beaten Istanbul, 11 away wins in a row, he'll be 12 if we beat Everton. How weird is that? We've got the best away record the club has ever had. Ever?
Matt Busby.
Forever, ever?
Nope.
Mourinho. Fergie.
Nope.
Van Gaal.
Never mind.
Tommy Dock. Racist Ron.
Tommy Dock in Division 2. Smoking it. Nowhere near it.
So it's weird. And then if you include the end of last season, we haven't won at home apart from Leipzig in like
84
8
years.
It's been 84 years. Anyway, Steer's got to go soon. So
I got the last appointment at the barber's. I booked it 2 weeks ago, and it's coincidentally the last appointment he's doing.
I booked mine at 11 today. Yeah. Went in, sat there till 11:45 because this dude put me in 11 for next week. When they're shot. Show you off. That's a scar, that.
Pay money for that.
Remember that story when I told you that I dropped when I was playing tracking in Stingers? That's the evidence of that.
All right, anyway. Cheers for tuning in. You can get these on
put
Audio
a Just
Boom.
Giving page up for young Adam McKola.
Check them out on Audio Boom. Start leaving us some reviews on iTunes.
Shall we do a giveaway? A random giveaway.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll give away Adam's car.
Shit.
Get us a comment in below, and we'll get you a model of Adam's car. Best comment.
The real one is review us on iTunes. Yeah.
And with his actual car.
And we will send you a T-shirt of your choice from the Stretford Paddock. Not FC, so you can't get fucking football shirt.
Links in the description.
So go and do that.
What we've got to do, best review on iTunes.
Best review. Yeah,
Best
make sure
review.
that don't go and give us a 1-star review and expect to win us fucking...
Yeah, you dick. 5-star review. Why it's the best podcast on this channel.
Yeah, and if you want to help us raise funds for Fair Share, copper tea as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to McKola and Howson Uncensored. Thank you to Mr. Stephen Howson for joining us. Thank you to you guys at home for joining us. Thank you to Joe Pon the decks at the back, DJ Ravon, and thank you. See you later.